Hey, hi, my name is Andrew Holmes, and this is my blockchain decentralization slideshow. Hey, to start off, I linked the two YouTube videos that I was asked to do research on. I also provided a link to the in depth article that kind of goes over blockchain as a whole. So I wanted to include some pictures to kind of explain what blockchain decentralization is. It's basically the transfer of control to a centralized entity of networks, like through a peer-to-peer system, so not one central place has control to all information. It's kind of made widely available. So you see in this picture, you see it's a centralized. Well, this is a traditional system. It's how a centralized system with a stored ledger. A blockchain system is distributed with a distributed ledger. It shows multiple people that all have access to the same information, and it isn't sent to a central location. Okay, this next one shows kind of how it works. It's not power is not held by a single entity. Instead, it is distributed among multiple participants, and it says even if one is corrupted, the network still can repair itself, and all the users still have access to the information. It's peer to peer, so let's see, two unknown parties can indirectly interact with each other and make in it. While that initially seems a little off, it's 100% safe. And the last one distributed, even if one node is tampered, the data does not get compromised. So that's really useful for making sure you don't lose a lot of information all at once. This one shows some benefits. It facilitates a trustless setting, improves data recovery, reduces degrees of shortcoming, and optimizes asset dispersion. Okay, for the first slide of why it can work, decentralization can still be useful in 20 years due to its strong security measures. Decentralization focuses more on security than any other aspect. It is always improving, and with hackers constantly being on the rise, security will always remain important. All members of a network has the same information, so you do not have to worry about information being misconstrued. The same thing can be said for information being lost. There's always going to be multiple users throughout different organizations and the same networks that have information, so you can't lose, say, like an entire database all at once. That would normally be detrimental to a company. And this last slide is why it could not work. Security measures are high, but hackers could eventually find ways to get into the decentralized networks, and they would have access to a lot of information. This is why security measures need to constantly be updated. But eventually down the road, the hackers could find a way to do it, even though it's considered super hard right now. It can also lead to slower transactions. This can be like when people want to get information sent to one another, or whenever they conduct like actual like money transactions. And it could also decentralization could also be in trouble if the crypto market crashes in the future, since obviously blockchain relies solely on cryptocurrencies instead of like cold hard cash. You would certainly see if people like if Bitcoin crashed and no one really used it anymore, blockchain really wouldn't have too much of a use.